Welcome to LoveBytes, the show where we debug romance. Now, I am not a doctor. I am not a psychiatrist.
I am not a patient.
I don't have a degree in sociology or psychology, but what I do have is wealth of experience and a sincere desire to help you. Because sometimes love can get messy. And sometimes, if you're not careful, love bites.
Hey everybody, and welcome to LoveBytes, a show where we, debug your romantic entanglements, something like that?
With some conviction, man.
With some conviction, where we debug your romantic entanglements. We're pretty good at it too. We've had a long history of many different guests coming on and helping us sort things out. I think, Ryan, this is your third appearance? Second. Only your second?
Only my is that unusual?
I thought I'd kind of been holding off on asking you back because I thought you had already done two, and I was like waiting to mix people in. I didn't realize you'd only done one more.
No, your poor chat has been missing out on my hobgoblin advice.
Well, then it's time to get it. Let's start, unless you have anything you want to say before the show.
No, I'm good to go. We should probably give some kind of disclaimer. Although
Oh, yeah!
Not going to help the poor souls that hop in the middle of this and assume that we're...
Well, yeah, but anyone that catches from the beginning. Ryan,
Professional
what are your qualifications? I hear you're working on your PhD in romance right now?
No.
Aren't you working on nanoparticles involving people's love?
The love particle, yes. I'm in search of it, but
No.
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 I am not a doctor nor a psychologist.
Okay.
I am utterly unqualified to be dispensing any advice, period. Let's just leave it at that. Just disregard me for the next hour and tell anyone that joins chat that they should, yeah.
Wow. Actually, before we get started, I was telling Ryan earlier that last night I had a dream that someone shaved off my beard and stole it. Which that's not been a thing for me. I've actually don't really like this big beard. It's just, I'm keeping it for the marathon stream. But after Ryan showed up yesterday on Dicing with Death with no beard, I had a nightmare that someone, it turned out to be my little brother later on, shaved off and stole my beard.
What a twist.
Yeah, what a twist.
Your own brother the whole time. Well, your nightmare is my reality.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
My beard has left my face. But
Anyway.
This is old news. This is from yesterday.
Let's
jump into the first question and save the witty banter for...
All right, here we go, guys. Oh, and if you want to send in your questions, send them to koibu@regalgoblins.com, but we'll get to that later. Question number 1. Dear LoveBytes, my girlfriend's parents are born-again Christians and have forbidden me from seeing her because I am not. Oh my. I should reread these sometimes. I am not religious at all. She goes to church and all that, and there is a believer, but she's not as into it as they are, but she won't tell them that because she's afraid of what they might say. What can I do about this? Should I confront them? Should I ask her to tell them how she feels? We've been seeing each other at school still and just not afterwards, but it feels like they're rejecting me as a person. From Love Without Jesus. Well, that was an unexpected question and the first of its kind. Ryan, why don't you start this one off?
Religion. That's a tough one. I get there's no indication of how old this person is or what stage of life they're in.
I think at the point where the parents forbid them to date.
Yeah. It sounds like it's like someone in high school or probably high school in the U.S. if it's a
born-again
Christianity. I don't think this is an issue that the rest of the world typically deals with.
I don't know. There's this kind of small section of the world where they're still killing each other over religion.
Yeah, at least of your viewership.
Yeah.
America is the only fundamentally religious or nation with a large population.
I don't know. When I was in Norway, I got a Jehovah's Witness who proselytized me while he was giving me a ride to the airport because he was a super cool dude.
Missionaries all over the world.
Yeah.
So anyways, okay. The way to, I think, approach this is just just go with the flow for a few years, and then when you're kind of, yeah. But as an adult approaching this, like you don't like your girlfriend's parents shouldn't really be in the occasion or in the conversation at this point, right? I mean, this should be about your compatibility with the person you're dating. And I guess their family sort of goes along with it. But I think the question shouldn't be, how do I deal with my girlfriend's parents? It's how does your partner share their beliefs? Is this a conflict for the two of you?
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, if her parents are saying, is it her or his? Yeah, her parents are saying, no, you can't. This can't happen, and she abides by it. That's the end game for you. You can't. What are you gonna do? Like, get in the way of her relationship with her parents and insist that you guys are together, even though I'm assuming she's living with them? Like, that's a lot to ask her to destroy her relationship with her parents for the sake of you. And in an ideal world, she'd be able to make that decision for herself. But it seems like we're not quite there yet for you.
Yeah. So like So right now it sounds like this is a minor for dating another, a kid dating another kid. So like dating in school is weird. I mean, dating in, I don't know, while you're growing up is weird. Take it as a learning experience. And when
there's also something enjoyable here about the whole her parents have forbidden the two of you to date, but you're still like together at school. There's a certain amount of like drama and mystery, which, while it might suck, you should get out of your system now, so you don't end up dating someone at your workplace, and then that turns into like equal drama and nightmare. We had a friend in high school who was dating a guy her parents forbid her to see. And that was filled with all sorts of drama.
That just makes it all the more exciting for the girl involved, I would imagine. This is me attempting to empathize with an adolescent girl,
for the person whose
quite
parents
a
are.
stretch. But no, like for the whole teenage rebellion thing.
Yeah.
An unrepentant heathen that your Christian parents forbid you from seeing.
You'll just go with it, deal with it, suffer with it, learn from it. But you're more or less you're kind of screwed.
But this is if you're in the States, this is pretty much going to be the rest of your life until some large cultural change shifts, right? If you're it's not like an a-religious person.
Yeah, if you're an irreligious person in a religious area.
In America. I mean, like, yeah, this is...
Move to California. That stuff doesn't happen out there.
I think it does. I don't know.
More rarely. Yeah. And just life advice for everybody, move to California. Well, maybe not all of you at once.
Yeah.
Bring your own water.
Maybe I missed that question and didn't give very good advice, but I feel my brain got totally sidetracked with the religion aspect of the story.
Well, it is a more I don't know how to say, like, it does add an interesting component that makes things a little bit more difficult to work with.
Yeah.
It's all right.
I'm going to throw this little anecdote in now. Just my girlfriend did ask for a shout out, Erin, last night on Dicing with Death, but I missed it. This is not the shout out she was probably looking for, but this made me think of a conversation we had pretty recently in our own, about our relationship and religion, and that's sort of popped in my head hearing this viewer write in. So, shout out, my love. But early this week, for the first time, I said to my girlfriend, "Look, I am not religious. I am a scientist. I'm an atheist." But I mean, she had been raised in a Christian household, and I don't know. I mean, it was fine. It wasn't like we had a disagreement about it, but it was sort of taken. I mean, that's not the sort of shit you should leave undiscussed in your relationships, right? I mean, so you don't want to turn away from those sorts of potential ideological issues.
I did not realize that was a thing. I didn't know that about her at all.
I mean, like something like 50% of this country is Christian, right? It's pretty
Yeah, but they
not a very unusual.
but we're
thing.
fairly split, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's certainly a potential
Interesting.
conflict.
I hope that was navigated with success.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to
Rambling shout out to
Ryan's honey.
my honey and.
Okay. Let's hop on to the next question. Dear Neil and guest, first off, I want to thank you and Lena for the advice you guys gave me. I'm the man of few words guy, and after listening to your advice, I'm feeling a lot better about who I am and stop pretending. Being myself is such a weight off my chest, heart, and soul. Thank you, or take your pick, so thanks. Now for my question. I met a girl online, and early on she told me that our relationship wouldn't be anything more than friends. After chatting with her for 2 weeks, mostly Skype calls, she invites me to her place, and here is where it gets confusing for me. After I get off the bus, she ran to me and took me by the arm, kind of like an arm hug, and started leading me to her place. She started talking about how she ran to the bus stop to meet me, and her heart was racing, so she took my hand and put it on her chest. After getting to her place, we did normal friend stuff, playing cards, ate food, watched a movie. The whole time I got a friend vibe from her, so I didn't try to advance, feeling I'll alienate her. Before we knew it was 3 a.m. and she asked me to sleep over. I agreed and started going to the sofa. Then she said, and this is the most confusing part for me, that I will not sleep on a sofa, and invited me to her bed. One-person bed. Now again, I just feel the nothing but friends vibe, so I agree and we go to bed. Since this is my first time sleeping next to a girl, I was very nervous. I don't know if it's this girl or a girl. It's just two girl. I was very nervous, so I mostly laid on my back, turning only when I was getting uncomfortable and away from her. I thought about turning to her and putting my hand on her shoulder or waist, but every time just friends was echoing in my head. In the morning, we said our goodbyes, and I went home. I talked to some of my friends, and most of them told me that I should have made a move. And she just said that we were just, and she said, and she just said that we are just friends for women mind games. And a few said she meant the friend thing, and some girls were just more comfy with sleeping in the same bed with guys. So, what do you guys think? Should I have made a move? Should I ask her upright? Thanks in advance. I guess he signed it, so I'm going to say it. Dante Shepard.
Dante! Boob touch. I do want to. I don't really entirely know the backstory. I'm guessing that this viewer received some very good advice from the enlightened Gonjalina the other week.
I think
and
so.
I'm about to present a totally different and I don't know closed-minded perspective with.
Give it to us.
And I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but
destroy the beautiful advice that was given by Lena.
Yeah, I don't actually know the backstory at all. But that was my disclaimer.
Give it to us, Ryan.
Stick with what you were told because it sounds to me like it's working. I mean, I wouldn't change a thing. He got to touch your boob, man.
No, there was no boob touching in there.
There was no boob touching.
There was no boob touching in there.
What? What about the chest?
I think like that's the chest. That's not boob, dude. That's like center of mass.
That changes the whole rest of the story for me.
Yeah. Reevaluate the story.
I was with chat, imagining the boobs.
No, I think it was hand on the chest to feel the heartbeat, not hand on chest to like grab boob.
It's still very intimate.
I know, right?
And cuddling in bed isn't. I mean, my impression is that. I mean, I obviously I don't know this person. Yeah, but this is your life. You've got to understand, communicate with the person that you have this relationship with in your life, and so I can't read this just from.
But you gotta that's the show, man.
Yeah. But it sounds to me like you had. I mean, if you had wanted to escalate things physically, to be general and.
But she kept saying, "Friends, friends, friends."
Just no, no. I mean, like, I mean,
But
it sounds like
it's a confusing mess because actions and words are in clear conflict. I mean,
yeah,
I've known friends to like accidentally fall asleep in people's beds before, but never like inviting
I,
someone into your bed just to like, oh, you don't have to sleep on the couch here. Come sleep with me, and just completely
yeah,
separate.
yeah.
That is
I mean,
really
I can.
bizarre.
So I want to preface this with like, if you're going to have sex or do anything sexual, you need to get her consent first, obviously. But cuddling in bed, I mean, there's still you can escalate things physically without. I don't
Yeah, like
know. As in, like, fuck. I mean, if you want to kiss her, reach out and kiss her, and she'll. I mean, and she. I mean, and if she says no, like stops you, then then don't. But
mhm.
it sounds like you were in a position where it would have been acceptable to make a move. You have to judge this for yourself, obviously. I mean, and if you want to see her again, and like
Yeah.
next time you're in a position like that, and this is something you're interested in, or just ask, talk. I mean,
Yeah, I do want to.
you don't have to lay there in bed awkwardly wondering if it's okay. You can say, "Can I kiss you?" Or even just go for. I mean, a kiss is a pretty. I mean, that's
You could start easy. A kiss on the
yeah.
cheek is a nice, easy
Or
advance without
yeah, a
invading
good
too
rule of
close.
thumb that I heard, and it was one of these like some romance related bro science.
Uh huh.
But a rule of thumb that a friend of mine in high school told me was to reach out and touch her hair, and if she lets you touch her hair, it usually means there's enough intimacy there where face to face contact is. I mean, it's along the same. So, anyways,
That's a nice rule
you're
of
trying to read
thumb.
a social situation. Nerds trying to figure out how
Hmm.
to understand girls.
I do want
But
to. Oh, go ahead.
I can.
Okay. I want to touch on the some of your friends were just like that. She was saying just friends for women mind games. That's a really immature stance to take.
Eh,
I don't know.
yes.
Being
Yeah, I
like
mean,
she's inviting you into, she's
so
saying just be friends, but inviting you into her bed and all these things just because women like to play mind games is a pretty immature stance.
no, she's a person.
She's a full
She
fledged human.
has just as rich and a complex inner life as you do.
And she might be equally confused by this. Maybe she's like,
I'm sure
I
she
just want to be
is.
friends with this guy, but we had such a good time. But we're
But
just friends,
she's
but we had such a good time. And oh, maybe I can invite him to the bed. Maybe we can get some like friend
she.
cuddles
I
going
mean, yeah.
on.
I don't want to presume because this is not someone that I know. This is not someone that I have a relationship with.
Hmm.
But but from the sound of it, I mean, she likes likes it. She enjoys your presence and your physical presence. If she's going to invite you into her bed, I mean,
Yeah. Hung out with you until 3 a.m. at her place, invited you
like
to bed. That's like
it
she
sounds
likes
yeah.
you. Maybe not romantically, but there's definitely an attraction there.
But really, the only way to go for it is to. I mean, maybe she's. I mean, like, imagine it from her perspective, like trying to like figure out if you. I'm not even going to try going down that. I'm not going to try imagining.
It's yeah.
That's a use. I can't. Yeah, it's a useless exercise
Hmm.
for Hobgoblin to attempt.
I just
But
I think you will be more comfortable knowing that she is probably just as confused as you are. She probably doesn't have some like grand master plan figured out and is like, aha, this is what we're gonna do, and then this and this and this. It's probably more like, whoa, we were just friends, but things got really cool, and now I invited him into my bed, and then we slept together, but not together, and da da da. She's probably confused. You're probably confused. So if you are interested, as Ryan was saying, if you're interested, do something. And if she says no, and you can be like, well, confusing evidence over there, but okay, can we like get a little crowbar of separation here? If we're gonna be friends, let's be friends and not like cuddle in beds together. Although it sounds like there was no actual cuddling.
yeah. Oh, there wasn't. They were just
No,
sleeping in
he
the
just
same bed next
awkwardly
to each
slept
other.
next to her and then rolled away when it was. What was the
I
phrasing?
mean,
I thought about turning to her and putting my hand on her shoulder or waist, but every time the words "just friends" echoed in my mind. In the morning, we said our
Echoed
goodbyes.
in. Oh, so this was She didn't say just friends. This is in his head, or if she previously said
She
just
had
friends?
previously said they were just friends when they were talking online.
Okay. So, I mean, I don't think this is this is a person that's still in your life, so you'll probably get more chances, but I don't know that you'll get an unlimited number of chances. There will probably, I mean, her opinion of you will continue to move down the direction that it's headed. But like a situation like that seems like an opportunity to, I don't know, move past just friends.
Yeah.
To catch her at 2 a.m. when her judgment's impaired and sleepy people make poor decisions. And
Yeah,
remember, no means no, but sometimes the same person that would tell you no in broad daylight will say, "Oh, yeah, sure," and when the lights go out and they don't have to gaze upon your nerdy nerd. I'm just kidding. I'm sure you're handsome and beautiful.
Yeah. People change their minds, and that is okay.
Yeah. That's a joke, Ed.
Yeah. at poor Dante's behest.
Poor Dante. Poor Dante's expense.
Yeah. You know, I've always tried to live by the will I regret this decision later in life? Like on my deathbed, looking back in life, how am I going to feel about what I'm doing right now? And I've tried to live my life more or less in lines with that looking back.
You totally have. I have a very different perspective. I'm a thinking man, and even as a teenager, I was sort of a thinking teenager. I made my share of mistakes, but mostly I look back at my life and I was like, I was pretty cautious. I could have taken.
Excuse me, you took way more fantastic risks in junior high and high school. You had a great time. I had a terrible time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
These stories are not fit for the internet.
No, we won't share them anywhere, but we've both had pretty good lives. But my point to you, Dante, is
you're right.
You have an opportunity here to try something. Don't be a dick about it. Don't do anything like horrible or creepy. But you have the opportunity to try something and to make a move. And if it fails, well, then this person's then now you have to deal with the fallout. If it succeeds, you deal with the fallout of that. Like, you have to make a choice here. Sitting by passively and watching your life go by is not a great option. So be confident, make a decision, and stick with it.
How you feel.
Yeah.
Just like and it can be arky-barky hobgoblin emotions. It can be your body is pretty and I want to touch it. That sort of shit turns girls on, turns women on,
turns everyone on.
Turns out like
seriously,
everyone wants to be wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't keep that shit to yourself. There's a there's a person right there in bed next to you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, you'll figure it out. We have faith in you, Dante. Just live a life of conviction, do the things that you want to do, and be proud of who you are.
And touch boobs. Touch boobs.
That goes to everyone, male, female, straight, gay, somewhere in between.
They're great.
Boobs are great.
It's scientifically demonstrated to reduce stress and things.
Actually, there was just there was just a post on the science subreddit today, and I'm going to read the headline. According to the study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology, women who participated in the experiment became sexually aroused in response to stimulating images of attractive females, whether they were... No, that's not about boobs. Sorry. I thought that said boobs. I guess I misplaced attractive females and boobs in my mind. I take that back.
Hot chicks turn other girls on.
Yeah. The point is, everyone loves boobs. Go for them. I think we're done. I think we rambled.
And they even feed babies.
Yeah.
It's a miracle.
They are miracle organs. That's probably why we like them so much. But this has gone off the deep end, so let's move on to our next question. Hey there, Neil and guest, and this is kind of a long one, so bear with me. Feel free to ignore everything that I put in parentheses. Also in parentheses, I've got English as a second language, as in I've never been to a country which speaks English as their first, so please be somewhat gentle. Only if you ask.
I'll be gentle.
This may be quite something uneasy to address, to discuss. Then again, this isn't really one of your shows that I've been watching before, so I wouldn't really know whether you've addressed an issue like this in an earlier show or not. Anywho, I've been having issues reaching out to people in overall since I met my ex about 10 years ago, and then she left me somewhat over 5 years ago. First off, she may have left you, but that's a defeatist mentality. You guys split up. Don't take the defeatist mentality that she left you. You say you broke up, and if she initiated it, that's fine. But you know, you got to keep a victor's mentality in all things in life. Moving on. However, this is about when things started to get even worse for me. She who did all these things towards me, she yelled and cursed at me. She hit, kicked, beat me. Okay, hold on. Never mind. I might withdraw my previous statements here. She forced me to sleep on a rug in the bedroom, sometimes in the hallway. She was the one who somehow gave me some kind of weird appreciation. She gave me some fucked up feeling of being of use, that she needed me for some reason, even though she never once said that she loved me. I felt it, knew it, that she really did love me. She had me worked down, broken. I was addicted to her. I needed her to survive, and I thought she felt the same. That's about when she left me for a mutual friend. Okay.
Yeah. Is that the end? Or
No, it keeps going, but if
Okay,
you need to
okay.
say something, say something.
I mean, a long question, short answer. This is an abusive relationships.
Yes.
An abusive relationship.
Yes.
This is not that he said his English is not his first language. So,
Yes.
I mean, the normal advice I would give would probably be more American geared, but like whatever the local authorities are, I mean, it sounds like the relationship's over.
5 years ago. Yeah.
So just walk away. Just walk away. I mean, if you need help from the law, I don't know what country you live in, but there are restraining orders, and it sounds like physical abuse and sleeping on rugs. I mean, that's
really fucked up,
kind of
dude.
abuse. Just get out. Don't look back. I mean, there will be, and see a psychologist, psychiatrist, a mental health professional, if that. Yeah.
Well, hold on. There's still like another half question to go.
Yeah, we can get to it, but yeah. So I mean, it sounds
Yeah.
carry on if there's
So I had a breakdown, a nasty one, a psychosis, which made me turn what little friends I still had against me. My last close friends fled, shunned me, afraid of what I've become. I have since managed to get clean about 4 years now, I see, and I've recently managed to managed keeping sober for a longer time, 1.5 months and going strong. I'm currently living in an assisted living, at least I think that's what it translates to, doing therapy twice a week. Good job. You're on the right track. Having another therapeutic on top of that who's currently helping me get out of my apartment. We mainly go to lunch, coffee walks, mainly focusing on social training, working my social anxiety. Truth be told, I'm not really / actively looking for a relationship. I'm still pretty damn broken from the last one. But yes, I will eventually start to look for love again. And before that, I need to relearn social codes. And most of all, I need to put myself out there. So this is what I ask. How will I speed up the recovery of my confidence? How will I easiest work on my socialist anxiety, phobias, and fears, preferably with as little help as possible from the people that are hired to be my friends? And of course, when all else has been achieved, or when all that has been achieved, where and how will I easiest find someone to devote myself to? That is, in a group or place where alcohol and or drugs aren't the main reason for people to meet up and socialize. Signed, Anonymous.
Devote himself to. That is interesting language. That's interesting. Okay. It sounds like you're on the right track, so I want to congratulate you.
Yeah. It sounds like you've gotten your shit
you're
together.
You're in recovery. You acknowledge your faults.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's great. You're on the right track. I mean, so keep doing what you're doing. Oops, smacking the microphone there.
Yeah.
You're on the right path, and like, but that last line did catch me. I mean, it's a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, this is a big question, especially when you actually have like 2 trained professionals already working with you.
Yeah, but these, yeah. But I do think there's probably something we can.
Of course, there's always something. A fresh perspective is always nice.
I think in the short term, it sounds like you're not ready for a relationship, and he seems to acknowledge that. She seems to acknowledge that.
Yeah.
The viewer seems to acknowledge that. I'm assuming it's.
I'm assuming it's a male.
Yeah. But you can still work on like opening yourself up to people again, or having like friendship is a good place to start with, like breaking down whatever barriers to intimacy
Mm-hmm.
we tend to put up, especially after a traumatic experience like you have been through.
Yeah. Seriously traumatic experience.
Yeah.
So how do I
So
speed up the recovery of my confidence? I think to speed
yeah,
up the
I think
recovery of
making
confidence.
friends and doing things you enjoy is a good way to go about that. Like you're watching this channel, so you probably are into like games and
Mm-hmm.
D&D and shit.
Yeah.
So get out and play some Dungeons and Dragons with people. That'd be my
That's a good way
suggestion.
to start. Yeah.
And it's an in-person social interaction has been demonstrated to be a lot more. I don't know. Like there are benefits to
Being
hanging out with
physically
people
in the
in the
same
real
room.
world as
Yeah.
opposed to over the internet. I mean, I guess if depending on where you are, these may or may not be options. But I would
But you get a whole lot more from being in the same room with the person. There's body language you pick up on. There's shared experiences. It's great, and also in-person D&D is superior to online D&D.
yeah. So
But that's not
get
always an
out.
option.
Yeah, get out to your local game shop or whatever and
Mm-hmm.
make some nerd friends.
Yeah. Also,
But that also applies to other hobbies you may have. I mean, those are good ways to.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so he also asked about relationships, but it sounds to me like a romantic relationship may be further down the line and you don't want to rush it, but you also don't need to be afraid. But it sounds to me like you're sort of defaulting to what you were just in. Like you don't want to, do you want to be in a relationship with someone do you want to devote yourself to? I mean, that sounds like
that might be a translation error.
that may be a translation thing, but it sounds to me like you've still got like a codependent way of thinking about relationships.
It's
That you
true.
need to address, and I'm sure you're addressing it with that your psychological professionals are on top of this stuff, but that's my perspective.
Yeah, I mean it's okay to be devoted to someone, but that is usually
Yeah.
built over time. You
Yeah.
shouldn't
Like, you don't
go
wanna-
into a relationship with the idea of I'm going to devote you don't want to start dating or start interacting with people with the notion that this is going to be I'm going to consume this person entirely. You want to build to that. You want to you want that all-consuming love for a person, but you don't want it right away. It's a little too intense right away. You need to slowly build into that. That's year
you also
2 or something.
Don't want it to be misguided. Like you don't devote yourself to a person that is not good for you, that is abusive towards you. So that sort of all-consuming love is great and beautiful if you can find it, if you're lucky, but you don't have to. You don't do that with everyone you meet, right? I mean, it's.
Yeah. He said, "How do I speed up the recovery of my confidence?" Well, you've done a pretty good job. This is a pretty long email, and you're pretty open about this stuff.
You've got a lot to be proud of.
And it sounds like you may have lost some friends with some poor choices a few years ago, but you know what? That's fine. We've all lost friends. We all move on. You can make new friends.
And people, won't necessarily, know all that you've been through.
Yeah,
everyone's
and you
got
can
their
choose.
baggage. Everyone has their untold stories.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need to feel like you're carrying this with you. I mean, the new people will start there, and it takes a while to build trust too. Like it'll take a while to have close friends.
Mm-hmm. I think
that sort of closeness in your relationships again, but there's a whole wide world out there, and building confidence, I guess, is that what he asks for?
Yeah, that building confidence is kind of a harder thing to do. But I think the best way, maybe not the best way, but we all have confidence issues from time to time. Even someone as magnanimous as Ryan occasionally has doubts of confidence.
Oh, I am crippled with self-doubt on a daily basis.
Yeah, we all are.
put on this persona on when I'm playing a badass hobgoblin on internet TV.
Yeah.
And even like
I mean, I'm married, and I still occasionally like, oh my god, does she like me? And they're like, oh, wait, she married you. Okay, fine, all right. And I can logic myself out of that one, but you still have
no,
like
hold on a sec.
that shit will never go away.
She's legally bound to you. Like at this point, it's so much more of a obstacle to get away that even if she stopped liking you, she would.
Don't say that, Ryan.
Yeah, no, you've got even less reason to.
But my point is that you will always be covered in
Just-
doubts. Like that is the human condition. Everyone around you has had doubts, and most of them, like, you fake it till you make it is kind of the rule of thumb here.
And then even when you make it, you're gonna still feel like you're faking it.
And
I think that sort of thing goes away with time. You get more used to being human. But it's.
But
I'm still young, but the impression I get from people older and wiser than myself is that life. I don't know.
The point is, everyone is more or less the same. Like, sure, some people are a little bit smarter, some people are a little bit faster, some people are a little bit better at this, or a little bit better at that. But we're all fucking humans. And we're all more or less the same in pretty much every way. You know, we all have the same fears, the same doubts, the same desires, the same troubles. We're all, like, you may right now feel a little bit less confident than those around you, but you know that's not necessarily the case. You're more or less the same as the person, the therapist you're talking to, or that weird dude on the bus that's like mumbling to himself and jerking off. Like, you're all kind of started the same. You're all more or less the same. You just have little weird slants that take you in different places. You're a magnificent
that beautiful
person.
girl that you walked past in the coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what culture this guy's coming from, but I mean, women have it a lot rougher in a lot of departments than men do. I mean, you're not looking for a relationship quite yet, but for the most part, I mean, she's going to be just as self-confident as you, or just as lacking in self-confidence, just as self-doubting as you are.
So,
if not more so.
Yeah.
So these are struggles that everyone goes through. And you've clearly had a rough past,
but you can do it.
Their past, and from the sound of it,
the world is your oyster. It may be a slightly damaged oyster right now, but that's all right. The oysters will repair themselves. You'll be fine, dude. You're great.
Biological organisms.
You're gonna
heal.
Yeah,
it's a miracle.
And how you do work on your social anxieties, phobias, and fears? Dungeons and Dragons, man. D&D, RPGs, the role-playing games are a great way to kind of learn about the world. I think one of the reasons I am so socially well-adjusted is because of all the... All right, that's a filthy lie. Maybe D&D didn't help socially adjust me.
But D&D has made us more confident being socially maladjusted.
Yeah. You know, I was happy being this socially awkward nerd that I was for like a decade. I was quite happy there, and that's all right. Like,
and now I get paid to be a socially awkward nerd. Mm-hmm. It works out in the end.
Yeah, you're gonna do great.
The life of a grad student, but yeah. It's
all right.
Okay.
All right, we're at our halfway point, so we're going to take a short break here, guys. When we come back, we're going to answer the questions that we have left. If you have any more questions that you'd like us to answer, please send an email to koibu@regalgoblins.com entitled LoveBytes, and we will try to get to it today. But if we don't get to it today, we will get to it on the marathon stream, although I will still need to find a guest, but that will be easy peasy lemon squeezy. See you guys in a few minutes. Bye-bye.